What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Making It with Brady Martin. Today, I'm here with Wade Baker, one of my good friends, and today we're going to be talking about everything career related. And this guy is one of the people that I know that books the most work out of anybody, and a lot of it is through self-submission, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mainly, yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to him about that today, and you guys are in for a treat, I think. So.
Hmm.
What's up, Wade? How's it going?
Good, Brady, doing good, man. How you doing?
Good, good, good. So yeah, I kind of want to just dive into it. So what are some of the things that you do that you feel contribute the most to you being able to book the most amount of work?
Uh, I just, I stay consistent with it. You know what I mean? Like I have a routine, so I put aside so many hours a day for my submissions, and I just kind of go through it, cycling through it, and just it's all for me. It's all about just staying consistent and just and just staying on that grind, really.
So what are those little actions? Because I know little things can add up to like big results. So what are those little things that you do? Like, is it Actors Access, casting networks? Like, what
Yeah, yeah.
exactly?
So I'm on Actors Access, LA Casting. I tend to book more through LA Casting, but there's so many. But those are the two main ones that I mainly go through. Then I have my agency, of course, that submits me as well. But yeah, I put my own footwork in there too. Um, so I try to work harder than the next guy. Because there's always someone out there busting their butt. So I try to stay on my A game at all times.
Yeah, I feel like that's super important.
Yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned, do you use Casting Frontier at all?
I don't much. My agency submits me a lot through Casting Frontier. Um, I mainly just self-submit through LA Casting for like commercial print work. LA Casting is one of the main ones. Actors Access is big for film, independent stuff. But I mean, LA Casting has both of them, but mainly LA Casting for like a lot of print commercial work.
I see. Um, so you've been doing that. You're pretty much living off it now, right? Like you're
For
pretty
the
much
most
able
part,
to?
yeah, for the most part, I have my side hustles. Like,
Yeah, of course.
I work. Yeah, we all kind of do. I feel. I'm a dad as well too, so I got two little ones, so
Yeah, you got to
I
make
got
sure the roof's over the
to.
head.
That's right. So, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, I've been pretty blessed to be able to have that income coming in and staying busy over the last couple of years. So it is nice. But there's those months too. Any actor out there knows, whether you're actor or model, it's you're gonna have dry spells at times, but you got to stay positive during those times because it's going to pass. And during that time, for me, like when I have those times, I focus a lot on reading scripts, watching movies, studying the greats, the people that I study the most, that I look up to as actors, and just staying fresh. It's just like a basketball player, a football player, someone who's an athlete. They always have to sharpen their game. You're not going to go jump to the to a basketball game and not practice weeks prior. You're not going to just jump into it. It takes practice. It's an art. And I just try to always sharpen that tool. So
Do you do practice self tapes? Just curious.
I do. Yeah. I've actually it's funny, I've been doing them more lately. I try to do as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
What about you?
find
Do you ever do that, or?
yeah, I do it. I'd say pretty frequently.
Okay.
I've been trying to have a goal of doing three a week, but realistically, it's been like one a week, and then
Okay.
whatever auditions I have. So, just trying to make sure you know, even if I don't have something coming in, that I'm still practicing,
Of
because I
course.
think
Yeah.
that the room is such a strange environment. Like you're in
Hmm.
just a blank room basically doing your
Right.
self tape, so you have to bring a lot in with imagination, I feel. So just sharpening that tool
Hmm.
is I think really important.
Oh yeah, 100%. And with the since COVID, everything is pretty much Zoom now. It's these self tapes, which is nice, in a way. But I do like going into a room with the casting director there and having that initial meet, you know? So,
Yeah,
I mean, I love the self tapes. Don't get me wrong. It is nice. It's convenient for us, but I do like that, you know, that interaction,
me too.
you know, which it's nice.
I always felt better when I could like go and like like kind of charm them a little bit with my
Yeah, yeah,
actual
exactly. Yeah.
personality as opposed to them just
Mhm.
seeing the self tape. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, also too with self tapes, I don't know about you, but I tend to like I'll go through do a few self tapes and I'll sometimes over like analyze like every little aspect about it. So it's kind of, you know, then when you go into a room, it's like, all right, this is your shot, you know, and it's yeah, I don't know, I just like that better. But
I've
both
been
work. So
doing it. I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off.
you're good.
Um, I've been doing it where I give myself 3 takes.
Yes. Yeah, I
And
do.
so if
Yeah.
I don't get it in those 3 takes, it's like if it's just bad, then I obviously won't use those takes.
Right.
But if it's like if they seem like they're kind of similar, then I stop because it's like what you're gonna get like 10% better, you
Of
know?
course. Yeah.
And so it's like then at that point it's just like, oh well, which one's my favorite? And then you're doing this like deliberation in your head, and it
Hmm.
just gets really annoying.
Yeah, he'll go crazy
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, I don't
Um,
like having that many options.
yeah, I try to do the same for sure. Um, Yeah, yeah, I used to be really bad at it. I used to do take after take, and then I'm going through like 10, 12, 15 videos. I'm like, what am I doing? And they're all, you know, it's like, I no, now I just cut it to 2 to 3. So
Yeah, because then you
same
have
thing.
those. Oh yeah, so because then you have those moments of like, oh, I liked what I did here better than what I liked here, and so you're
Exactly.
like, ah, how I wish I could cut them together, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just like 3 takes. That's it.
That's it.
Because the
I got
first one for me sometimes is just like not getting a bad one out, but like,
it. Mhm.
all right, let's see what happens, and then you do it, and then those next two are like, you usually make like one adjustment, and then the last one's like, okay, I got it. That's what I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to do.
It's funny too. A lot of times, like the first one's the best one too.
Yeah,
I tend.
sometimes you look back and that
Mhm.
insecurity of like, I don't know
Yeah.
how this is gonna go. There's that in your eyes, so it has
Right.
that
Right.
feeling of spontaneity to it as well.
For sure. That's true.
Yeah. So how long do you feel like you spend on these casting websites per day? Like do you have a structured time block, or do you just kind of go through and pick everything that's right for you? Because I know like a lot of like actors out there that probably listen to this podcast are like really
Mhm.
starting out. So I think you're a really good person to help out with that like next step. Because the last guy I just interviewed, he's like 30 years down the road. Like he has his agent,
Okay.
his manager. He gets like really big auditions and he usually books them, like that type of thing. But you're kind of in that
Okay.
spot where you're like pretty much making a living off your work. Um, you're doing stuff all on a lot on your own, and
Yeah.
you're really putting in the work. And I kind of want to really get into nuts and bolts of like what
Yeah.
exactly you're doing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So what? Yeah, I try to set aside like a certain time throughout the day, but you know, life's life and things come up sometimes. But for the most part, um, Mondays are always the start of the week for like LA Casting Actors Access. Around, I try to hit it around 12 to 2, so right around like noonish. So I'll spend like 2 hours. Now I do go through like all the roles. So you know how you'll get emails and they'll give you like roles that fit you. So
Yeah.
it kind of eliminates a lot of it. But I go actually on the actual like say LA Casting, and I siphon through all of them. Um,
Oh,
I've gotten really fast at that. I do it pretty quick because there's a lot. I mean, as you know, there's hundreds a day. You know, so I'll go through the description. Yeah, and just obviously apply the ones that I feel like fit me. Whether it's we try to stay in that like age gap, and then with our pictures we have on there, there's some that I look a lot younger, a lot older. So I try to always, like for example, say there's a role that requires like 20 to 25 year olds or something. I'll make sure I submit one of them with my face shaved, clean shaven, where I look younger, and I'll block out the other ones. So I'll try to give them more of that youthful look. And then you have the ones that want more of the rugged cowboy look or whatever. So I'll make sure when I have my full beard, cowboy hat, or whatever it might be. So I have a variety of photos, videos uploaded on there. So I try to match the photos in the videos as well. So if it's like a commercial, I try to match like, say it's like a role for they want outgoing, big smile, lots of personality. So I'll submit some smiling pics. And I'll make sure I have videos of actually me doing like a spokesman commercial or something where I'm really outgoing. I'm not going to send them my drama reel to where I'm playing the serial killer, so
Yeah.
I'll, so yeah, I try to work around that for the most part. But so yeah.
How many reels would you say that you have on there?
Ooh, I got about seven.
Okay. And are they
7 different
different?
reels.
7. So yeah, describe those.
Yeah, for sure. So I have my theatrical reel, which is mainly like a very dramatic scene, more drama on the drama side. Then I have a fitness reel on there for like fitness shoots, commercials, things like that. I have a skateboarding reel as well because I have a skateboarding background. I have a lot of like comedy, like little comedy commercial, like things I've done with friends over the years. And so yeah, I try to like have a variety of things up there. So
And you
yeah,
submit those things to the specific work.
I do. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So that's why it's really important too, not to really go. It's really important for like actors out there who are new or starting off, or have even like a reel, or maybe have a few pictures up there, or maybe they have like a monologue they shot. They don't have much work. That's fine. It's just really important to really go through and read through the details on these casting. So you're sending the appropriate things to these casting directors. Because that really does help. And it's just really important to pay attention to that detail for sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Do you,
because
hmm?
go ahead. Sorry, I'm good.
Um, do you ever do you go through social media and reach out to casting directors ever? Is that something you do?
I don't, but what I do, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. What I recommend, like all actors do, when they're submitting through like casting networks, there's always like a little note section you can add in there. So I always add my Instagram. So I'll
Oh, okay.
add my Instagram there every time I submit. And the reason why I do that is because the nice thing about the casting directors, they actually, I'll see them look at my story pretty often, like throughout the
Mm,
day when I submit. And it's really important to make sure that's why if you see my story, I'm always uploading, when I'm on set, BTS shots. So they see you working, they see how you look now. They see you're present, this isn't, that picture you submitted is not from 5 years ago. And you're like 60 pounds heavier with a shaved head, or, it's just really important so they can see your current self. And I noticed since I've been doing that probably like 2 years now, it's really boosted my bookings, to be honest with you. So
damn.
it's yeah. So that's a big thing I recommend all actors out there who are self-submitting do for sure.
Dude, that's a
That's
golden nugget.
yeah, it is. It's great.
That's that's one of those things like you heard it here first kind of things, you
Have
know?
you done? You haven't done
I've
it?
never done that.
It's do it, man. I'm telling you. And it's funny because one day I don't know. One day I think I saw them say, "Oh, can you add your Instagram?" It was like they actually requested it, and I'm like, why don't I do that on every submission? And it's not like I have a huge following on Instagram, but I have, I keep it pretty professional. I have
Yeah, you keep
my
it
work on there.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got my kids on there, my babies. It's and yeah, they can see your work. They can see you're working. I try to stay healthy, stay fit, and out there just trying to get work. So
Dude, that's a great idea.
yeah, man, start
If
doing that,
anybody
bro.
listened to this podcast, I think just that little nugget alone would be enough to convince them
Yeah,
to keep listening.
yeah, it helps, man. I recommend it for sure.
So
Sure.
I find like words to be really important,
Hmm,
like how we define certain things,
okay.
because a lot of the way we think about things contains some sort of limiting belief. And I think a lot of living is just trying to get rid of those limiting beliefs that we have.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you, how do you define acting?
Ooh, that's a good question. How do I define it?
Yeah, like if you're like, so like I know the Meisner technique has their own definition, and then I know
Right.
Jack had his own definition. I'm pretty sure his episode's going to come out before yours. So to give examples, Meisner's is behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
his definition, and Jack's is behaving as if it's really happening. So what would you say would be yours?
I try to behave as it's as if it's really happening. I've kind of always gone with that that route. Um, yeah, that's kind of the way I've gone throughout. I mean, from the very beginning, even when I first started studying acting and went to school for it, it's just it seems to work for me, you know.
Yeah. And do you feel like just that definition alone guides you kind of? Or do you have any other process that you go through when you see a script?
You know, yeah, I mean, my process, like if I read a script, I mean, like a lot of actors, you try to put yourself in that character's shoes. Um, you know, for me, it's nice when you can actually relate to one, you know, if you're reading a script or a character. And I've been very fortunate to really relate to my last role I did. I was able to relate to that character. So it felt really real, really real to me, that character. So I didn't really even, you know, there was times to where it's just, you don't even feel like you're acting. I felt like oh wow, I'm living through this again. So you have to be able to separate that too, you know, especially when you're offset. Because I do like, you know, I like the method. You know, a lot of the actors I study, like Joaquin Phoenix, Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, some of my favorite actors I look up to. Very very method. But it's good to, you know, be able to know the difference and know, okay, I'm going into this role, and then boom, cut, and then ready for your next one, and being able to know, okay, now, you know, now this is it right here. We're done with this role's done. And then really, like, so say you're done with the role, then you get a new script. So that other one's done. That's a pass. Whatever happens with that happens. However, if the movie comes out, whether it's good, it's bad, it don't matter. Your job's done. So now it's on to the next one. And so that's kind of the way I go through it.
That's cool. So you kind of keep yourself a little bit separate from it. Because for me, it's
Like
like very just like this is fiction. Like I
for you?
don't, yeah, like I don't think of it as like real at all. It's like I
Okay.
mean, like I behaving as if it's really happening. Like that really is it. But it's like that as if is so important for me. And actually kind of find it opposite for me that if I relate to it, that it's like a little harder to play. Because then I'm
Mm,
like trying to like put myself into it, I feel like too much.
okay.
Where it's
I
like,
see.
oh, this is so similar to my life. And then it's like, then it kind of takes that fiction out of it where it's like, well, how would I really behave? And it's like, well, you wouldn't like
Mm,
be in this exact situation. So it sometimes that makes it actually harder for me if I'm like really similar to the character for some reason.
okay. I got you. I got you. Well, this last role I did in the feature that's coming out soon, that's the first time I was able to really relate to any character I played. So it was different for me. It was a different experience. You know, compared to the last role I did where I played uh, a New York fireman, you know, saving the day on an airplane, you know, with terrorists. You know, it's like I never lived that. You know, so
Yeah.
it was pretty wild just looking back at that. That, I mean, that was so foreign to me, you know, just that whole set, you know. But that was fun because it was completely make believe to me. It did never felt, you know, real. So that was a different experience than when I worked on Adeline. And that movie just it's more of a drama too, and it hit home for sure. So
Yeah, because you had
so it's
like so yeah, you want to talk about that movie?
yeah,
Um
yeah,
so what was
for sure.
the story like the log line or yeah, how would you
Yeah.
describe it?
So it's about postpartum depression. Um, and I play a husband in it, and my wife is going through postpartum depression, and it basically it's the story's about how deep postpartum depression can go, to where you start hallucinating, you seeing things that aren't happening, and it takes it to a whole nother level. And postpartum depression I mean, it's a real thing for women, for men, for you know, anybody that's going through whatever they're going through. So, and it's more of like it's a drama, but it's also got some horror in it as well. So it's
Hmm.
going to be an interesting one when it comes out. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah.
And what character do you play in that?
So I play Bill. I'm the supporting, like a supporting husband, loving husband, just trying to be there for my wife who's having a difficult time after, you know, some things we went through. And, you know, and I'm just, you know, you see you know, trying to be that supporting husband when you have a wife that is going through what she's going through at that level is, you know, you can only try to, you know, it leads up to, it gets me into a whole nother state of mind and makes me react in different ways, you know, over a period of time. So you'll see that in that. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're like the main guy, right?
Yeah. It's me and
I thought so.
Who plays Adeline. Her name's Sydney Carville. She really good actress, and this is I think her like 6th feature film now. She's been on a roll the last couple of years, so yeah, she's really talented. So the chemistry on set was really good. We shot it out in San Diego, so it should be coming out here pretty soon. I think in the next month or two.
That'd be cool. I can't wait to watch that. Is it going to be on Amazon, you think, or like?
Yeah, it's going to be on the streaming services. I heard something about like Netflix. I'm not sure though. It could be on Netflix, Amazon, but yeah, it will be on one of the main streaming platforms for sure.
Dude, that's going to be cool.
That'll be exciting. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I don't know how it's, you know, you don't until it's out. It's like, oh man, it's just that curiosity.
What if they like cut you out completely? like somehow.
It was just an imagination. Yeah.
He's in the background the whole time.
Oh man. Yeah, that was one of the more challenging sets. I'll say that it is the most challenging set I've ever been on. Because you know, you have those scenes, which I'm sure you've done them, but it's real emotional scenes, and I've done those, don't get me wrong, you know, but when you have a room full of, you know, 20 extras and, you know, everyone, and then you're having to stay in that state of mind and that emotion, you got to keep that emotion, you know, take after take, you know, and like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but that was definitely one of the, I mean, I'll never forget that day that we had to do some pickup shots like 4 months ago, and they rewrote some stuff, and it was great, but it was mentally draining for sure, to say the least. It was a tough one, but yeah, I'm excited for that, for people to see that, because it's a lot different than, you know, airliner sky battle, you know, the action one I did. It's just it's not even like you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, airliner sky battle is a fun movie. It's a really fun action movie to watch. Kind of has that like Die Hard vibe, like Die Hard kind of feel to it without the budget, you know, like Die Hard. But yeah, so I'm excited for people to see it. Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I'll make sure to shoot you. I'll shoot you the link as soon as it comes out.
Do you have any more films lined up so far, or is it still, because I know you've been doing a lot of print ads and stuff lately?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of those book covers. I'm on those love novels. It's pretty fun. I'm the Duke, man.
That's
I'm
cool.
the Duke. No, those are fun. Those are a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm on hold for a feature right now. I've been on hold for the last like 2 months. So you know how with those, it's just when they give me the go, or if it gets the go, then I'm ready to do it. But you know, I've just been doing a lot of commercials, a lot of print stuff lately. So I'm trying to get that next feature. You know, that's my main focus is film. So
do you want to do film more than TV, you think?
You know, that's a good question. That's tough, because I love film. I mean, I grew up on movies. I just love being able to be part of a film, you know. But with the way things are going now with streaming services and with all the you know, all these series, I mean, really I'll go whatever route, you know, whatever way it leads me. But I'm open to either, to be honest. But film is my baby. That's my focus for sure. You know,
I've kind of always felt like that too. I just like a complete story, you know.
Exactly, and you get lost in it, you know, and that's a beautiful part about you know, cinema, and that's why I have such a passion for acting, because, you know, since I was a little kid, you know, I sit 5 years old watching black and whites, you know, James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden was my favorite movie. I was like 5, 6 years old, and I was so drawn to it. And it was the cool thing about it for me. Movies to me have always been like an escape to jump. You know, you're jumping into a whole nother world. You know.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like that, and as an adult, I'm even more like that. So it's never gone away. So that fire and that passion is always there. and that's the whole reason I wanted to be an actor since I was pretty young. So yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things that kind of like hooks you. Like it gets you in that spot where it's like, oh, I can never, like I'm unfortunately connected to this for the rest of my life, you know?
Exactly. Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
and it's one of those things where it's like you might as well just dive in because you're not going to lose the bug, I don't think.
No.
And
No.
I think I used to, like in my mid 20s, I think I was kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out a little bit. Um, but then it was just like, am I really doing this? Or is it something that I'm like playing at as a hobby? And it finally,
Exactly.
I think, clicked in where it was like, no, this is full steam ahead. Like, dive in, just take as much action as you can because you're never going to get rid of this unless you take it all the way.
Oh yeah, that's the beautiful part about it. Is it's just neat. It's storytelling is just it's so amazing. When you watch like a movie that just really affects you, whether it's a sad movie or a happy movie, either way, you leave that movie and it just kind of sticks. You ever have that happen to where a movie just kind of sticks with you for a little while?
Yeah.
You ever have that?
Um,
I'll have that every once in a while. That's when like I just watched a freaking masterpiece,
they're
or
usually not movies though that
you
like
know.
I like immediately. Like they're
Okay,
usually movies that I like. I kind of get myself through. Like House of Gucci is actually a really good example of this.
I haven't seen that yet.
Really good.
Okay, check
When I
that
was
out.
watching it though, it was like, okay, this is pretty good. I like this story. But it's one of those movies where after the fact, when I was like sitting at home, I was like, damn, I really liked what Al Pacino did there. Or it's
Mm.
like, damn, what's that guy's name? Why can't I think of it? Oh well. And then like Jared Leto's performance. I actually really liked it. A lot of people thought he like went full Mario on it, like, it's a me, Mario. But the whole movie, I thought they cut Jared Leto out, which is pretty
Oh
funny.
yeah,
But he was just in like heavy prosthetics.
yeah, I saw that. He's not even recognize. You don't even recognize him, really.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was Jared Leto at all because I usually like tend to not like Jared Leto. Sometimes his
Okay.
performance is a little bit like, "Ooh, look at me."
Yeah, he's kind of hit or miss. I feel like.
Yeah, but in this one, it was like he went the whole movie. I didn't even know it was him, and I just kept thinking about how silly his character was. And then Lady Gaga, and
Did she do a good job? I'm assuming she
oh my
she
gosh,
crushed it.
killed it. And then
She's
Adam
such a good
Driver,
actor.
so good.
Who would have known though? Have you seen Oh my gosh, I'm brain farting with Bradley Cooper.
That
Um,
was another one that like stuck in my head. I knew I liked
that
that one immediately though.
that's one of my favorite movies. That's a perfect example. That stayed with me for like weeks. I saw it
Yeah.
like 3 times within like a week. That movie is just so amazing. And when I watched her in that movie, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's amazing.
What's
Like I
funny
did not
is,
feel like I was watching Lady Gaga, and
oh my
that was the
God, I
beautiful
know.
part about it. I was like, this is a character. Like this is not Lady Gaga. And that's when like, okay, they're truly doing what they need to do because you watch some movies, even some of these like people that are big names, and you're watching a movie and it's okay. For example, like I like Tom Cruise. His movie is great, but every movie I watch him in, it's Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? So every movie he's in, I'm watching Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that does
It's
make sense. Yeah.
and so that was really neat. And the Bradley Cooper is incredible. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. It's great.
You talk about like sticking, like it's sticking in your mind. One of the songs is actually going to be like our wedding song,
Oh,
which is
really?
pretty
Oh,
funny. I think it's
wait,
from
which
that
one?
movie.
Which one?
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Yep. The
But I heard
soundtrack.
the, oh my God, so good.
Oh
And
man,
she wrote a lot of it. So that, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
she's so talented. Yeah, that when she goes on stage in that scene where when it's like she first gets brought to everyone, where he gets her out. It's like, come out, and she finally goes out. That I had goosebumps. That scene just gave. Oh man, that was cool. Yeah, I loved it. That was great.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those movies. And then um Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh,
I
another
love
great
that
one.
movie. American
You're a Bradley
Hustle.
fan, then.
I am, but it's like
Yeah.
not on purpose. It's not like, oh, I love Bradley Cooper movies. It's just he happens to be in these movies that
No, he's
just
great.
stick out. But it might not be a coincidence. It might be that I really do love Bradley Cooper and that
Right,
he
right.
just happens to be making these movies awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Who
he's so
knows?
talented. That guy's incredible. Yeah, Silver Lining Playbook's another good one. You know, with that one, they Jennifer Lawrence, um, when she did her audition tape, I think I watched like some story behind it to where she's like, it was the worst taping I've ever done. And she was talking about like, I did not like, it was like a kind of like a Zoom thing like this, but then she was reading for it. So she wasn't expecting to get it. But yeah, I saw like a little cool backstory on that. But that tends to happen for a lot. I mean, some of the roles I've gotten and things I've gotten are like, oh, this is, I'll send it anyways. Like, or it's due by this time. I got to get it in. And so I tend to book those ones more than the ones I'm like, oh, this was, I'll have it nice and polished. Like, okay, this is for sure. I got this, so you just don't know. They're looking for a specific, whether look or whatever it might be. So you just don't know. You just do. I try to leave it at the door now, and that's a big thing. Before COVID, when I go to auditions, in Hollywood, I'd walk out of the audition and I'd be in my head for the next hour or two, like, oh man, I should have done this, or I should have, and now it's like, as soon as I walk out that door, I just leave it at the door, boom, and go on with my day. Because there's nothing, you did your job. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Because I make myself crazy, man. I'm sure a lot of people do. A lot of people do that to themselves. But
Yeah. Especially when you have like a long drive or something.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I got one chance to do this.
you're stuck in on the 405, just like
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like
It's funny.
you're just hoping it goes well, and then
Mhm.
yeah, I always just like the ones where I leave where I'm like, ah, I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Like those are my
Mhm.
favorite. But yeah, like you're saying, just like leaving it at the door and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a skill I think that you
Mhm.
learn over time.
Yeah.
Speaking of auditions, do you know what your booking ratio is, or do you keep track of it, or like? I mean, I
You
know
know
it
what?
doesn't really matter, but
I don't. I can tell you, like, on an average, I'll get, like, I had 2 auditions already this morning. I tend to get a lot of auditions like during the week. I would say like maybe like 2 a day I'll do. So that's what it's like, maybe 5 days a week. So like 10 auditions a week. And they're all over the place. So
damn.
and a lot of it's through my agent sends me auditions constantly. I communicate with my agent daily. But I also get a lot that I'll self-submit. Now, if it's a big role, I'll let them know to make sure, like, hey, we're submitting me for this one, rather than me self-submitting, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see.
So I'll self-submit to like kind of lower projects, but it's still a decent rate, a good rate. Something that maybe they would overlook, you know what I mean? It's not, you know, whether it's a buyout for a commercial or whatever it might be. It's just something that is a decent day rate. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to self-submit for those. And, I tend to get quite a bit of those, which is nice.
Do
Yeah.
you are you discerning with those at all? Do you do free type stuff, or
No, nah, man.
you got to pay the bills?
When I first moved to LA, I did like one, or I did a couple actually, like short films. I'm sure most people have, but nah, I can't afford, I mean, I got bills, I got kids, so
Yeah.
yeah, I got to make sure I'm getting paid. But I mean, now with friends, like I'll do some stuff. Yeah. I'll all day long, like, create. But if it's like something LA casting, I'm not going to submit to something that has no rate. Yeah.
Do you know what's such a red flag to me
What's that?
is when the character description is like this long.
Oh,
Like when it's
yeah.
like he's sensitive, but also he's really strong, and we find out that he's actually really charismatic, but at the same time he's hiding a dark side. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, those are red flags to me. It's like you don't know what you're doing.
No, that I agree with that. Well, they're basically giving you the whole story in the submission about this character. It's like, there's no need for that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to have, like, the breakdown. But yeah, I know exactly. I see a lot of those, actually. I see a lot of those in LA casting,
Yeah.
mainly.
Yeah, those are the ones that I'm like, run away.
Oh, so you don't submit to those? No, just kidding.
Unless they're highly paid or something, but
Yeah.
usually those ones don't tend to have the funding. It's like student film. We need sensitive but sweet, but also has an emotional side. Yeah, it's just like they just run it for like a paragraph.
It's funny you said that, because I did a student film for New York Film Academy. It was my first, yeah, it was my first role, I think, and it was for a thesis film, and it was very similar to that. As a student, the students at film academy, so they're breaking very similar to the way you just described that, and that was interesting.
Did they even finish the film though? Because usually that's what happens.
What's that?
Did they even finish the film though?
They did, but it was. I mean, I won't even say the name of it because I don't want to. But it was so chopped. It was chopped up. The editing, they were students. They were still learning. So it actually premiered at Warner Brothers, because I guess New York Film Academy has they do their thesis films at Warner Brothers. So I actually went to the lot to
Oh,
watch
that's
it.
cool.
So I took my mom. I was all excited. I mean, it was cool still to see me up there. But yeah, it was choppy, man, for sure. The editing was really choppy, but it was an experience. It was my first one I got on my belt, so it was neat.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on acting class?
I think that they're good. Acting classes can be so pricey. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, I've taken them. It's good to sharpen. It's sharpening your tool, but there's so many different classes that teach different things too. So have different techniques to how you want to go about it. So I think it's just finding what fits you. For me, I mean, I watch movies, man. I watch people who I admire, and just I watch like the greats and just study them. I mean, you can't really get much. I mean, to me, like Michael Caine. You could watch free YouTube classes on Michael when he was teaching classes, and I highly recommend that. Michael Caine's he's on a whole nother level. I mean, it's like little things he'll teach you, to where how your eyes are looking and how many times you blink and how much it takes away from a scene when you're, versus being able to keep that eye contact and not blink, because it was wild that he would break down a scene to where it's the same scene with someone doing it this way and then this guy doing it where he's blinking constantly, and or even just a couple blinks, it just takes away from that emotion. And it was pretty wild, just like little things like that. But I don't know, I watch movies, man. I mean, I study movies now. I'm at that point where I try to get at least a movie in each night, whether it's a movie I've seen a million times or something that I've heard about.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Um, I just, I mean, I'm not currently in acting class. Not that I wouldn't want to be. I have one studio that I like to go to, because I really do feel like they let you just perform, and then I think the performing part is the important part, like the getting up and practicing
Yes,
type thing,
yeah.
and then you're supposed to rehearse with your scene partner all the time. Um, and so that really helps me a lot. I feel like it's just reading through scenes and stuff.
Mm.
Some I'm gonna be trying more of, I think, since I'm not really in class, is to be reading, like be a professional reader on We Audition. I don't know if you've heard of that
Okay.
website.
Yeah. I believe I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna be kind of my next way of practicing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But I'm the type of person who's like I just like to practice a lot. And so
Right.
so then the like game day type stuff doesn't feel very significant. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just another day. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I've been performing every day for the past X amount of years, so why would this be any different?
When you're prepared to going into it, and it just makes it that much easier.
Yeah. And then you just know kind of what works for you and what doesn't. As opposed to like, oh, this is so significant. I gotta like make sure I nail this. It's just like, no, like this works for me.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
I also recommend too, like improv,
Mm,
open improv place. Like in Hollywood, there's a place off La Brea. I don't know if it's still there, off I think Sunset La Brea. I used to go to, and I used to go like maybe Tuesday nights, and it was just free improv classes.
oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, it was so cool. I did that for like a year because you go up there and just improvise. Now that I think that helps a lot too, especially when you go into a room with a casting director. And it makes it, just I feel like that helps. Because you go into a room with a casting director, you have a script or your sides. You want to be off book, of course, right? For the most part, if you have enough time, you're off book, so you already have it up here. It's already memorized in your head. So you're going in there and then delivering it to the camera and to everyone in the room. So when you go to these improv classes, I feel like you don't have any sides to go off of. You're just out there, boom. and you're performing just on the spot. So I feel like that helped me a lot when I got into an audition room, um, auditioning in front of casting. So that was a big thing for me when I first moved to LA.
That's
So
cool.
yeah,
I
that
wonder
helped
if
a
they
lot.
have that now.
I don't know. I mean, it might be open now, but I know during COVID everything was kind of in limbo. But yeah, they're probably open back up. But that was like 5 years ago. It's crazy. Time flies, man. That was right before my daughter was born, so
Damn, that was a
she's
while
already
ago, huh?
5.
Jeez.
Wow, man. I've known you since shoot. Gosh, man. Remember we met in Las Vegas? We did a that convention.
Yeah.
Remember that CES or something?
Yeah,
How
I
long ago
love
was that?
that.
8 years
Um,
ago? Had to
yeah,
been at least 8 years ago. Seven,
yeah,
8 years.
yeah. I've been in LA, like probably second thing I ever did when I got to LA.
Was it CES?
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was
love doing
fun.
events, man. I want
I
to
do
get back
too.
into
I do it
that.
again. I do it again. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if they still have those going on, but that was fun.
Once they open back up, I'm definitely getting back into events
Events, yeah.
because it's a little bit more reliable than acting for me.
Do you do anything on the side? You still, yeah.
I'm just carpet cleaning right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, carpet cleaning, auditioning. That's pretty much it right now.
You
But
got full.
yeah, but that's it's a pretty good job for like having enough money to live and then also being able to pursue your art. So I usually have free weekends and whatnot. So it's a decent job. Did your phone cut out? I think I lost you. So yeah, pretty much just doing that. It's a decent job, you know. It's not exactly what I want to be doing, but it pays the bills. So
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, man.
so what's something you didn't expect getting into acting?
Hmm. I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, so my one of my first jobs ever, when I moved to LA, was for a music video, and it was for a big artist, and they put makeup all over me, eyeliner, lipstick, and a pink tank top on, and so yeah, that was my first gig ever, full blown red lipstick, the whole deal. So that was interesting. As when I studied acting, I went to school, did all that stuff, but when you move to LA, your very first set, um, was pretty wild. So, but it was cool though. That was, I played one of the models in a music video. So, but just the red lipstick threw me off. And my hometown, a lot of my friends like to pull that video up all the time. Like, oh, my brothers, they'll make a joke about it, but it's all good humor. But
It's
that
funny.
was that was I don't know. I mean, that was just more of like that was my first experience like on a set, so it was pretty wild. But I had a blast. It's just different every time. You're on a set. It's just you could be. I mean, I could be on a commercial set and the next day be on a film set. It's just always changing. So and that's what I love about it too. It's never the same. It's never really the same unless you're working on a feature or a film that's shooting in the course of weeks or months. You see the same people daily, but for the most part, you're on set for a day for whatever it might be, commercial, print, and then you're on another set the next day, and it's always revolving something different. So I love that aspect of it. Oh, actually, no. To answer that, probably my second or third set was in downtown LA, and it was for a pilot. The same, I think, producers, directors that did Sons of Anarchy, and I remember walking through downtown, and I didn't know what base camp meant. There's like you go to base camp and then they shuttle you to the set. So I just walked straight to the set, and I went through Skid Row
Uh-oh.
at nighttime. I didn't even know what Skid Row was. I just moved to LA, so that was an experience. And I saw Marilyn Manson, and that was pretty wild. So that was like my second or third
On
set
Skid Row or on set?
on Skid. Yeah, and it was on Skid Row, and they had it all taped off all around, and they had like officers everywhere. And we were just filming like this street scene where I just played like a
No, I mean,
extra.
was he in Skid Row or was he
No,
filming the video?
he was filming. The production was filming in Skid Row,
Oh,
and
okay.
Marilyn Manson happened to be in that scene, and it was
That's
just
funny.
wild because I'm like, oh wow, that's Marilyn Manson, you know. So that was
That is
pretty
funny.
cool. On Skid Row of all places. So that was pretty wild. But yeah, it's
Do
always
you?
different. What I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
about it.
It's always just a completely different experience. Yeah, Jack was actually talking about that where it's like some sets are completely improv and then some are like stick to the script, don't change a word.
Yeah, for
That's such a
sure. That
it's so crazy. Like those are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So that's insane to me.
yeah,
Um,
some like to go really by the book, and then other ones, oh well, what do you? And it's nice too. Sometimes they'll ask like, what do you think, or how would you say that? You know, does that, you know, they're like, or does that feel natural to you? So sometimes you show up on a set and they'll really want your feedback. You know, does
mm,
that feel natural? And then other times you'll be on a set to where it's very scripted. They got a shot list. They want this done. Everything's just by the book, which is fine too. It's just, you know, it's just, you know, depends where you're at. But
yeah. Do
yeah,
you produce your own stuff at all?
I don't. No, I don't. I mean, I'm not against it. I just haven't really tapped into that yet.
That's
That's
okay.
probably something I might start doing.
I
I know
mean,
there's
you
a lot
work
of
so
things that,
much, so
yeah, it's, you know, it's just, yeah, I got a lot going on for sure. I got a full plate. So, I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things I want to get into as well. You know, I'm like, oh, I got to find another hobby. But I'm like, I already got these Spartan races I do with my daughter and on the
Dude, I gotta
weekends.
go to one of those with you.
Dude, they're a blast, man. You got it. And it's cool too. I mean, they're all the time out in like LA and SoCal. And to start, just do like a 5K, man. It's pretty, you know,
That'd be hard for me, but
yeah.
I
Nah,
think
you
once
can
I
do
get
it,
in
man.
slightly better shape, I'll do it.
Nah, you can do it. It's like what's it? It's like 2, 3 miles. It's all obstacle courses though. So, you know, it's a little bit of running here and there. You do some incline, but it's fun, man. It's just nice to get outside and be active, you know,
Dude,
doing
next
stuff
time
like
you
that.
go for real, hit me up.
I
I'll
will.
definitely love to do that.
Yeah, I'm doing one in Big Bear May 15th. I don't know if that's too soon, but
That would actually be pretty nice. I could probably
May
do that one.
15th. And my little girl's gonna do the kid one too, so that'll be fun.
Dude, that's
She
gonna be
loves it,
awesome.
man. She was a little savage when she went out there. I wasn't sure if she was
Is
gonna
she like
like it, you
kicking
know.
people?
No, she was loving it, man. She was climbing, jumping stuff, and Daddy, look, you know, got her medal at the end. It was so cool, man. It made me happy. So
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, they're cool. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, the next one, May 15th, Big Bear.
Okay, cool. I love Big Bear, so that would be perfect.
Oh yeah, and they're on weekends too, so like Saturdays, Sundays. So
Be perfect.
yeah,
Uh,
I'll remind you, man. I'll hold you to that.
okay. Yeah, keep me
All right,
accountable.
I will.
How was the pandemic for you? I
You
mean,
know,
for actors, it was really hard. So,
yeah, that's a good question. The first 3 months, it was tough, man. I was inside a lot in the beginning. Started to gain some weight, was eating a lot of garbage, and just, you know, I think for most people, it kind of, you know, it had that kind of like a depressing feeling in a way because, you know, everything shut down. In our lifetime, we've never experienced anything like that, you know, and you know, you know, there was no work. So I finally like had the switch that went on. I'm like, okay, I need to get outside, stay healthy. This isn't going to last forever. You know, that was my mindset. I was like, this is a temporary situation, and it could be next month, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, a year, but I'm going to continue doing what, you know, prepping, being ready when we get out of this pandemic. I'm going to be ready to go. And the crazy thing about that is I booked my first feature film during the pandemic, almost at like the prime of it.
whoa.
And that was the airliner Sky Battle. And we shot it. We shot it in Burbank. Yeah. During like when we shot that in like June of the first year of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was wild because, you know, I wasn't expecting that. And then my second film was also during the pandemic. So I was really, really fortunate to be working. But other than that, there wasn't much work. But I did 2 films during it. So I'm happy about that.
That's
So that
good.
worked out pretty good.
That's really good.
but but yeah, it was challenging though, you know. you know, I'm sure for you as well, you know, just everything,
I think
life just
mentally,
dramatically.
yeah, mentally for me it was really really hard. I just I don't know. I don't think I did really well with that like forced um inactivity, and I think it kind of sent me into a spiral to where it was
Okay.
like almost like, oh, I'm not like almost it didn't even feel like I was able to do anything. Like I definitely had a sense of powerlessness during it that kind of lasted until probably just a few months ago, actually. And I feel like it's valuable to share this experience because I think we had very opposite experiences of it. Because, like, I feel like you were able to, bounce back and like do that pretty quickly. But I think for me, it was like a very long um, getting back to center. Because I go back and look at my photos from like a couple years ago, like right at 2019, and I was like, oh, I felt really good in that photo. And then I saw them through like 2020, and I was like, oh, he's not okay, And I think very recently, I just finally got my pet back. So
Got it back. That's good though. It's good. I mean, it's good because a lot of people, I mean, really are having, you know, I mean, majority of people had a really hard time. If you think about it too, not, you know, mentally it affected people the most, I feel like. And then, you know, business wise too, a lot of these, you know, mom and pop shops and these businesses that have been in business for, you know, years, you know, weren't able to make it through. So I started looking at it in that sense too. And like, I'm like, I have a lot to be thankful for.
yeah,
I made it a point too to really take my kids out. I mean, every weekend. I mean, me and Audrey were at the beach doing stuff. You know, I was just keeping them outside. I didn't want them to be inside, closed off, and feeling like. So it was pretty. I made sure it was normal, like it felt like nothing changed for them, if that makes sense.
that does
So,
make sense.
especially as kids, you know, because it's confusing. It's confusing for us as adults, but as kids, they don't know what's going on, you know. So,
Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah, I feel that. That was a oh, I mean, I produced two films over it. One I acted in, one I was just helping to produce. But still, yeah, like I said, it still wasn't like a good good
Exactly.
time. Um, yeah, that was a interesting time, I think, in all of our lives.
Feels like it's starting to everything's kind of now shifting back to normal. But then you got gas prices now in
Yeah.
Ukraine and everything, so it's like
I feel like
so
it's back though. I feel like it's
yeah, I do.
like fully like I really don't feel like people are gonna go along with the mask thing again, and
I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
think it's pretty much over. Like even now we're supposed to be wearing masks, but everyone's like, yeah, you don't have to show me your COVID vax, so
yeah, I'm noticing that
have fun.
even on sets. I mean, I have mine, but it's not. It's I'm noticing like they're not even requiring it. Not all sets are requiring it, but some still do. But I was just on set the last two sets I was on. Yeah, they didn't didn't require you to show it or anything. So,
Yeah. All right, so here's the big question.
yeah.
And I've only asked this once so far, but this is going to be like a ongoing question.
Okay.
If you could go back and do it all over again, what would you do sooner? What would you leave out completely? And what would you do more of?
I would have jumped into theater in high school. I waited till after high school because I did sports, football, and wrestling. I would have gotten to theater at a younger age. I wouldn't have waited till I was 25 to move to LA.
Mhm.
I would have moved sooner. And 25 is a good age, but I would have moved sooner. Um, yeah, I would have moved after high school. I would have gone. I wish I would have. I would have. Yeah, I would have gone to LA sooner, right out of high school. I took it like there was a period of like 6, 7 years. I was in Texas. I was in Sacramento, just floating around. And I always wanted to move to LA. LA is a big place, you know, coming from a small town. I was like, it was kind of scared. It was kind of scary in a way, to be honest with you. I didn't know anybody out there. But when I hit 25, I finally said, I'm going out there and doing it, and had $400 in my pocket, sold my car, took the bus to audition. Never even been on a bus prior to that, you know.
Damn.
So I mean, surviving off top ramen and what those PBR, or what are those PBR beers? Those a red, what's it? You know what I'm talking about?
Paps.
Paps. Yeah. Paps and top ramen for the first 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Doing audience background work, but
Ooh, audience is the worst.
oh my gosh, I don't miss that at all.
And then what would you do more of?
More of, if I could do it all over again, what do I do more of?
Or you could still do it now. Like there's nothing stopping you now from doing more of it.
I mean, I feel like I feel like there's not enough hours in the day. I try to fill in all my space, my time with, when I'm not working, when I have my kids, I'm constantly just working on my craft. I'm just, whether, like I said, whether it's reading scripts or watching movies. I mean, I wish I had more time to do more, but for the most part, yeah. Yeah.
That'd be the type of thing where it's like once you can hire an assistant type of thing, like free up the time. I mean, that would be cool. Like one day to have an assistant.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because that's the whole point, is just to like free up more of your time. But yeah, I see you hustling all the time. So
yeah, I'm on the go, man.
you're killing it.
Off, like 2 weeks. I got these guys, but they keep me pretty busy. So.
Yeah.
All right, baby. Okay.
All right. So I think that's about it for me. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
I will see you next time, and you will hear us next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. See you, Brady.